Now I will explain you about the valency. Valency. Valency is what? The number of hydrogen atoms which combine directly or indirectly with one atom of an element so as to form a compound, that is known as the valency. So what it indicates, that in water molecule, if I will think about the water molecule, then how many hydrogen atoms are combining with the oxygen atom? 2. So the valency of oxygen is 2. In the same way, if I will think about ammonia, how many hydrogen atoms are combining with one atom of nitrogen here? This is 3. So the valency of nitrogen is 3. In the same way, if I will say about the methane, then what will happen? The 4 atoms of hydrogen combine with one atom of carbon. So the valency of carbon is 4. Next one example, HCl. Here HCl, one atom of chlorine combined with one atom of hydrogen to form the compound, that is, or one molecule of HCl. So the valency for the chlorine is 1. It means if I will take the elements, I am considering here the valency of chlorine, here I am considering oxygen, here nitrogen, and here is the carbon. Here chlorine form the compound HCl. Oxygen forms the compound water, nitrogen forms the compound ammonia, carbon forms the compound methane. So, one atom of chlorine combines with one atom of hydrogen, so valency is 1. Here, one atom of oxygen combined with 2 atoms of hydrogen, so the valency of hydrogen is 2. So, I can write here number of hydrogen atoms. Hydrogen atom combined with one atom of an element to form the compound. To form the compound is its valency. So valency for chlorine is 1, oxygen 2, nitrogen 3, carbon is 4. But what happens? Some of the elements do not form compounds with hydrogen. At that time, then how we will find out the valency of the elements? Then another concept has been given, and that we call it electronic configuration concept. With the help of electronic concept, we can find out the valency of all the elements, whether they form the compounds with the hydrogen or not. We can find out the valency with the help of electronic concept. What is that? According to the electronic concept, the number of hydrogen, sorry, according to the electronic concept, the number of electrons donated or accepted by one atom of an element to attain the stable electronic configuration, that is known as its valency. So what I said to you, the number of electrons donated or accepted by one atom of an element to attain the stable electronic configuration, that is its valency. So here first you have to know what is stable electronic configuration. Stable electronic configuration. Stable electronic configuration, to know the stable electronic configuration, we have to know about the electronic configuration of elements. If I know the atomic number of an element, I can easily find out the electronic configuration for that particular element. Atomic number, and what is atomic number? Atomic number is equal to number of electrons. Sorry, actually it is equal to number of protons present within the nucleus of an atom. And within a neutral atom, the number of protons is equal to number of electrons. So if I know the atomic number, I can easily find out the electronic configuration. For example, sodium. The atomic number is 11. So its electronic configuration is 2, 8, 1. If it is magnesium, then atomic number is 12. So its configuration is 2, 8 and 2. Oxygen. Atomic number is 6. In the first cell, 2 electron, and in the next cell, it will be atomic number for oxygen is 8. So first cell 2 electron, second cell 6. Then chlorine. Atomic number is 17. Configuration is 2, 8, 7. Now what happens when in the last cell 1, 2 or 6 or 7 like electrons are there, then what will happen? The atom is not stable. But instead of that, suppose helium, it has atomic number 2, configuration is 2. Neon, atomic number is 10, configuration is 2, 8. Next, argon. Argon, atomic number 18, configuration is what? 2, 8 and 8. Okay. So what happened? If in the last cell, if an element has 8 electrons, if it has more than one cell, and in the last cell, if it has 8 electrons, and if it has only one cell, and if in that cell 2 electrons are there, then the atom has stable electronic configuration. Otherwise, it has not, electronic configuration is not stable. For example, these sodium 1 electron, magnesium 2 electron, oxygen 6, here it is 7 in chlorine. So they do not have stable electronic configuration. Only if an atom has 8 electrons in the last cell, when the number of cells are more than 1, and if 2 electrons when the number of cell is 1, then what will happen? We will say that atom has stable electronic configuration. When 2 electrons are there in the first cell, then it is known as the duplet configuration. Only one cell and that has the 2 electron, then it has duplet configuration. For example, helium has a duplet configuration. But neon, it has 2, 8 configuration. Argon, 2, 8, 8 configuration. So they have a stable configuration, and that configuration is known as octet configuration. So if an atom of an element has duplet or octet configuration, then it is stable. Otherwise, it is not stable. So to attain stability means to attain the 8 electron in the last cell, atoms generally give the electrons to the other atom or accept the electrons from the other atom and attain the stable electronic configuration. For example, I said to you sodium. Its configuration is what? 2, 8, 1. So what it will do to attain the stable electronic configuration? It will give one electron and then convert it into, since it will give one electron, it will be converted into sodium ion, that is 2, 8. So it will give one electron to attain the stable electronic configuration. So its valency is 1. So valency for sodium is 1. Now magnesium. Its configuration is 282. To attain the stable electronic configuration, means to attain 8 electrons in the last cell, what it will do? It will give 2 electrons. When it will give 2 electrons, its configuration will become 2 and 8, and that is the stable one, and it itself will convert it into magnesium 2 plus ion. So its valency is here 2. Chlorine, it has configuration 287. Now chlorine configuration is 287. Now what will happen? Either to attain the stable electronic configuration, either it will give 7 electrons or it can accept 1 electron. Which one is easier? It is easy to accept 1 electron compared to give 7 electrons. So to attain a stable electronic configuration, this chlorine atom will accept 1 electron. So its valency is what? 1. And it itself will be converted into Cl minus. So its valency is 1. Next is, suppose oxygen O. Its configuration is 2, 6. So to attain configuration, it will not give 6 electrons. Instead of that, it will accept 2 electrons and converted into, it will be accept 2 electrons and converted into O2 minus. So its configuration will become 2, 8, and here the configuration will become 2, 8, and its valency will be, since it has accepted 2 electrons, so its valency is 2. Here it will be 2, 8, and since accepted 1 electron, so it will be 8 here. So since sodium completed the octet configuration by the loss of 1 electron, so its valency is 1. Magnesium, it will give 2 electrons and attain the configuration, stable configuration, so its valency is 2. Chlorine, accept 1 electron to attain the stable electronic configuration, octet configuration, its valency is 1. Oxygen, configuration is 2, 6. So to accept the, to attain the stable electronic configuration, it will accept 2 electron and its valency is 2. So valency of an element is the number of electrons donated or accepted by an atom of an element. But sometimes what will happen, to attain the stable electronic configuration, at atom of an element neither give the electron nor accept the electron. They attain the stability by sharing of electrons. By sharing of electrons, at that time what will happen? Number of electrons shared by one atom of an element, that is its valency. Number of electrons shared by one atom of an element, that is known as its valency. For example, suppose hydrogen is there, then what happens? It has one electron, and what it will do? When it will share its one electron, like with, when it will form the compound HCl, at that time it will share its one electron with the chlorine atom. So its valency is 1 at that time because it is sharing one atom. If I will think about the carbon, then what will happen? It has 4 electrons. So at that time what will happen? It's very difficult for carbon atom to give 4 electron or to accept 4 electron. So what it will do? It will share the 4 electron, and what will, it will share its 4 electron with 4 electrons of other atom or atoms and form the compound. So its valency at that time is 4. So generally what happens, the metals which has 1 or 2 or 3 electrons in the outermost shell, they give the electron and attain the stable electronic configuration, and their valency is 1, 2 or 3. Since they attain the charge plus, so even we can write the valency plus 1, plus 2 or plus 3. And non-metals generally has 5, 6, 4, 5, 6 or 7 electrons in the outermost shell except inert gases. So these elements attain the stable electronic configuration by sharing or by donating, by accepting the electrons. So the valency for the carbon, generally the atoms which has 4, then valency is 4. When 5, the valency is minus 3. For atom having 6 electron in the outermost shell, valency minus 2, and 7, then valency is minus 1. So this is all about the valency. The valency, number of electrons donated or accepted or shared by one atom of an element during formation of one molecule of compound, is known as its valency. Some of the elements has exhibits variable valency. For example, copper. It has the valency plus 1 as well as plus 2. It exhibits the valency plus 1, plus 2. Iron exhibit the valency of plus 2, plus 3. So other elements are also there. I'll tell you later on. So they exhibit the valency more than one type. So they exhibit variable valency. When they exhibit the two different types of valency, when lower valency, then at that time the element we call out cuprous. And when higher valent, then we call it cupric. In the same way, iron, then lower valent plus 2, then we call it ferrous. And when plus 3, we call it ferric. So cuprous is what? Cuprous is copper 2 plus. Cuprous is copper 2 plus, sorry, copper 1 plus, and cupric is Cu plus 2. Ferrous is Fe 2 plus, and ferric is Fe 3 plus. Nowadays, cuprous is even written in the form like Cu in the bracket like this 2. Cupric is written in this way and cuprous is written in this way. And now iron in the form of ferrous, it is written in this way, and ferric is written in this way. So why elements exhibit variable valency? Sometimes what will happen, the element give the electrons not only from the last cell, even from the penultimate cell. What is the penultimate cell? Second last cell. So sometimes what will happen, the element give the electron from the last cell and even from the penultimate cell. Then at that time it exhibits variable valency. Like I am giving you one example for the copper, that how copper exhibit variable valency. Copper its atomic number is what? Atomic number is 29. So its electronic configuration is 2, 8, 18, 1. And even it has configuration, sometimes from the penultimate cell the electrons jumps from last cell to from penultimate cell to the last cell. So at that time its configuration becomes this to become more stable. Okay, so when it will give this electron only, at that time its valency is this. But when it will give this electron or lose these 2 electrons, at that time due to the loss of 2 electrons, its valency will become this. So variable valency, when it is exhibited by the elements, to attain stability, what will happen? Sometimes they donate or they give, or there is a loss of electron only from the last cell. And sometimes there is the loss of electrons from the last cell as well as from the penultimate cell. The penultimate cell electron jump to the last cell, and then what will happen? They give the electron and convert it into the plus 2 charge here in case of copper. So variable valency exhibited by some of the elements. Now one more thing I'll discuss, That is, first, before how to write the formula, before that I will discuss what are radicals, or what are radical. Radical, that is what? That is an atom or group of atoms. Radicals, what? Group of atom behave like a single unit but always carry a charge, either positive or negative charge. So radical, group of atoms of same or different elements combined chemically and behave as a single unit with positive or negative charge, then we call it radical. For example, for example, if I will say this is what NH4 plus, that is the ammonium ion. This is one radical. Then another, suppose I'm carbonate. So this is another radical, CO3 2 minus. So these are what? Group of atoms, nitrogen and hydrogen. So two different types of atoms are there. Group of atom are there and they are carrying charge, that is the plus charge. And carbonate, here also the charge is there, that is the negative charge. Negative charge. So radical, group of atom which carry the charge but behave as a single unit, and that one is known as the radical. Compounds also, what will happen? They are group of atoms like H2O, NH3, but what will happen? And they behave like a single unit, but they never carry the charge. Compounds don't have the charge. Radical, what will happen? They are group of atoms with the charge and behave like a single unit within a compound or within a reaction. Now there are two different types of radicals. One known as the basic radicals, another known as the acid radicals. All the positive radicals, positive ions, radicals with the positive charge, they are known as the basic radicals. And the radicals with the negative charge, they are known as the acidic radicals or acid radicals. And I said to you that radical, they are atom or group of atom. They are atoms or group of atom carry the charge, either positive or negative, and behave as a single unit, then we call it radical. Even with the this sodium single atom, but it carry the charge, then it is a radical. Calcium 2 plus charge. Ca is an atom of an element, while Ca2 plus is a radical. Then Cl minus, that is also a radical. Cl is one atom of chlorine. Cl minus is one. Cl minus is a radical. O2 minus, that is also a radical. So atom or group of atoms with some charge and behave like a single unit, that is known during a chemical reaction, and or keep it its identity in a chemical reaction, then we call it radical. Basic radicals, positive charged, and acidic radicals are negative charged. Basic radicals are also known as cations, And acidic radicals are, or acid radicals are also known as anions. Or it means cations are positively charged particles and anions are negatively charged particles. And combined together, they are what? Ions. So even ions are what? Ions are the charged particles which are formed either by the loss or by the gain of electrons. So today we have discussed about symbol, then we have discussed about formula, definition just, and valency, and then radicals. Symbol that are just like the alphabets, and formulas are like the words. Like to make the word, I require the help of alphabets. So to make the formula, I require the help of symbols and valency. Without symbol or without knowing the valency, I can't write formula. I must have to take the help of symbols and valency of the elements to write down the formula. So to write down the formula, first we must have to know, or we have to learn about the symbols of the elements and valency of the elements. So there are so many radicals. You will get this chart in almost all class 9 books or even class 8 books where the language of chemistry chapter is there. This, and you have to learn by heart this chart, the valency chart of electropositive ions or radicals, the valency chart for electronegative ion or radicals, and along with that you have to learn the symbols for the elements. But here symbol and valency both are given here if you will see. Like hydrogen, the symbol is H, valency is +1. Ammonium ion, the it is a radical, so it is represented by NH4 and its valency +1. So by knowing this, you can write any formula. But now I'll discuss how to write the formula of the compounds. The formula of the compound we use crisscross method. And what is that? Suppose you want to write the formula for calcium chloride. Chloride. Okay. Here two parts are there. One is the calcium and another is the chloride part. Okay. So the for how you will write the formula? First you have to write what is the symbol for the calcium, that is Ca, and chloride means chlorine, so it is Cl. The charge for the calcium is 2 plus and the charge for the chlorine or the valency of the chlorine is what? -1. Okay, calcium is +2 and chlorine is -1. After that, what you will do when you will write the formula, what you will do, you will exchange the valency. This valency you take it here and this valency you take it here. So the formula will be CaCl2. Here 1 we will not write. You don't have to write 1. Now next is the compound, suppose magnesium sulfate. How will you write magnesium? It is Mg. the symbol, and for sulfate it is SO4 2 minus. Valency for the magnesium is 2 plus. So exchange the valency, this valency will be here, and this is not the valency, 4 is not the valency, valency is this one, valency is 2 minus. So this valency, the valency of this, that will come here. So it will be Mg2 SO4 2. But since both are 2, so we will not write it, it is just MgSO4. Another example I am giving to you, that is, for example, it is aluminium sulfate. How will you write? This is aluminium sulfate. How will you write? Aluminium Al and sulfate is SO4. The valency of this is 3 plus and sulfate is 2 minus. So this valency will come here and this valency will come here. So your formula will be Al. The valency will come towards the aluminum side. So 2. SO4 is the representation for the sulfate. So this valency will be, give the bracket and then write the valency here. So it is aluminium sulfate. So in this way we can write the formula for any compound. If I know the positive radical, that is the acid radical, and basic radicals along with its charge, we can write the formula of any compound. So this is all about how to write the formulas of the compound. Now as an exercise, write down, you people write down the formula for these compounds I am giving to you just now in front of me. Suppose you have to write the formula for sodium nitrate. Write down the formula for sodium nitrate. Then write for aluminium chloride. Aluminium chloride. Ammonium ammonium sulfate, calcium bicarbonate. So you can write the formula for any compound. To write sodium nitrate, it is NaNO3. How it is coming? Because it is Na and nitrate is NO3 minus, and this is the plus charge, plus. So NaNO3, aluminium chloride AlCl3, ammonium sulfate, it is NH4 whole twice SO4, calcium bicarbonate CaHCO3. So write down the formulas using crisscross method. Next is that how you will name the chemical compounds from their formula. From the name of the compound you can write the formula, and now how you will name the chemical compounds if formulas are provided to you. There are some rules I'm telling you. First rule is that suppose a compound is a binary compound. Binary compound means a compound which is formed by two elements. A binary compound is there. First rule is that it is for binary compounds. A binary compound, it is consisted of one metal and another non-metal. Suppose the formula is given to you, sodium and chlorine, NaCl. Then this is the symbol of the sodium and this is for the chlorine, since it is consisted of one metal and one another non-metal. So at that time, first element you write as it is sodium, and second element, that is what? That is the second element, that is the chlorine. Second element, that is the chlorine. But since it is one metal, that is the basic radical or positive ion part, you will write as it is sodium, but the negative ion part, along with that you will add the word chlorine. It is chlorine, but don't write chlorine, remove this. Instead of that you have to write chloride, IDE. You have to use chloride. So it is sodium chloride. Next is MgO. Then what you will write for this? It is, since again it is a metal and non-metal, so you will write magnesium oxide. Okay. So whenever a metal or a non-metal is there within the compound, that is a binary compound, at that time first you will write the name of the metal as it is, but with the non-metallic part or the negative ion part, what you will do? You will add IDE. Okay. Now second type of binary compound is there, that is a compound which is formed by two elements, but both are non-metals. If both are non-metals, suppose it is CO or NO, NO2, okay, or N2O. Then how will you write? What you will write? For the first letter, how many carbon atoms are there? 1. And how many oxygen atoms are there? 1. So it is actually monocarbo monoxide. But with the first one, if 1 is there, we will not use the word mono. So I will write here carbon monoxide. Oxide. And this is what? This is again one nitrogen, one oxygen. So it is nitrogen monoxide. But here nitrogen is 1, oxygen 2. So what I will write here? Nitrogen, and for 2 oxygen atom it will be nitrogen dioxide. Here nitrogen 2 but oxygen is 1. So it is dinitrogen monoxide. Then next is, this is also known as nitrous oxide. That is, the next is, suppose it is PCl5. Then it is phosphorus pentachloride. So one non-metallic element, when it is 1 atom, then it is mono. When it is 2, then we will write di. When 3, tri. 4, tetra. And when 5, then penta. Then 6, hexa, like this. So in this way we can write the name of a binary compound when it is consisted of 2 non-metallic elements. First as it is, second element I will write in the form of oxide, nitride, chloride, in that way. But Whatever the number of units are there, accordingly I will write mono, di, tri, tetra, penta, like that. Now next one is that suppose a compound is there. That's a one interesting thing I'll tell you here. When a metal and a non-metal is there, always I write sodium here and chlorine here. Metal first, then non-metal. Okay, so we know it's okay that metal will write first, then non-metal after that always. But when these again nitrogen and oxygen is there, why I'm not writing ON? Why I'm writing NO? I can write ON, but I'm not writing ON. I'm writing NO. Again NO2. Why? Because the element which has minimum number of valence electrons, that we have to write first, and then after that we will write the element which has more number of valence electron. I'm giving you example for suppose NaCl. Its atomic number is 11, so configuration is 281, so 1 electron in the last cell. Chlorine 17 atomic number, so configuration is 287. It means it has 1 valence electron and it has 7 valence electrons. So which has less number of valence electrons? Sodium. So sodium we will write first and then chlorine. Now I think about the N and O. Then what will happen? N atomic number is 7, so its configuration is 25, while that oxygen it is 8, so configuration is 2,6. So valence electron in this case is less than this. That is why I will write nitrogen first and then oxygen. So I think now you come to know that why I am writing nitrogen first and after that within the formula oxygen afterwards. Next, third, I'll say discuss naming the compound when it is consisted of 3 elements. For example, NaNO3. And one of which is always oxygen. NaNO3, and I have written NaNO2. So here what will happen? The first element is as it is, that is the sodium. And then here it will be, I know NO3, that is what? That is the NO3, NaNO3. Oxygen here it is more and here oxygen is less. So when it is 3, then we will add the word 8. And when it is 2, I will use the word 8. So this compound is sodium nitrate, while this compound is sodium nitrite. In the same way, CaSO4, calcium CaSO4, and this is CaSO3. Here oxygen is 4, here is 3. 4 is more than 3. Okay, so the name of this compound is calcium sulfate 8, while the name of this compound is calcium sulfite. So suppose two compounds are there, made same, consisted of same elements. One element is oxygen there. Then what will happen? The compound with more number of oxygen atom, there I will use the word 8, and where less number of oxygen atoms, there 8. So it is sodium nitrate and this is sodium nitrite. In the same way, here oxygen is 4 and here oxygen is 3, so it is calcium sulfate, while this is calcium sulfite. Again, like this compound is there, KClO3 and KClO2. So this is what? This is potassium chlorate. This is 8 and this is potassium chloride. But two more compounds of potassium chlorine and oxygen are there. One is this KClO4, where the oxygen is more than 3, and here it is KClO, it is less. So this is what? This is potassium chloride. This is potassium chloride, and this is known as potassium hypochlorite. One less than this, then we call it hypochlorite. And this is potassium chlorate. And one more than this, then we will call it potassium perchlorate. Potassium perchlorate. So this is 3. So the name of the compound is what? Potassium chlorate. And this is what? Potassium chloride. Okay. 3 then 8, 2 then 8. Here, one less than this, then it will be potassium hypochlorite. And this is one more than this, so it is potassium perchlorate. In the same way, if I write NaClO, comma NaClO2, comma NaClO3, NaClO4, then this is what? This is to 8. This is 8. And one less than that, so it is hypochlorite. And here one more, so it is perchlorate. So name of the compound is what? Sodium hypochlorite, sodium hypochlorite, sodium chloride, sodium chlorate, and sodium perchlorate. Sodium hypochlorite, sodium chloride, sodium chlorate, and sodium perchlorate. Hypochlorite, chloride, chlorate, and perchlorate. Now, naming of the acids. You know about sulfuric acid, carbonic acid, sulfurous acid. So, naming of the acid. If acid is or hydrochloric acid, how the name derived? If it is a binary acid like HCl, HBr, these are what? Binary acids. Means they contain hydrogen and one element. Then what will the name of the acid will be there? Hydro, and then chlorine is there, so hydrochloric acid. This is, and here the bromine is there, so the name is hydrobromic acid. Hydrobromic acid. Okay. So the name, just I will give hydro word as the prefix and ic acid as the suffix. Again here bromine, it is the acid of the bromine, so hydro word here as the prefix and ic acid as the suffix. Next, if it is not a binary acid, but instead of that, suppose it is an oxy acid or more than 2 ions are there, then H2SO4, then HNO3. Then how I will name it? The name of this acid is sulfuric acid. The name of this acid is nitric. Considering this element, this is consistent, sulfur element is there, so it is sulfuric acid. This is nitric acid. And this is what, if I write here H2CO3, this is what? This is carbonic acid. But actually that is the common name for the acid. Its chemical name is what? The chemical name of this one is dihydrogen sulfate. This is hydrogen nitrate, and this is dihydrogen carbonate. That is the chemical name, because this is the sulfate part and this is the hydrogen part. So this is dihydrogen sulfate, this is hydrogen nitrate, and this is dihydrogen carbonate. And sulfuric acid, nitric acid, carbonic acid, They are the common name actually. So this is all about how we will write the name of a compound if formula is provided to you. Now tell me, what is the chemical name for this compound? All of you, we know that this is ammonia, NH3, ammonia. But ammonia is not the common name. Sorry, ammonia is the common name. Common name is also known as the trivial name. Trivial name or the common name. There are certain names of the compound which do not follow any systematic rule, and such names are called trivial names or the common names. So common name for NH3 is ammonia, but it's ammonia. But then what is its chemical name? Its chemical name is actually nitrogen 1 atom and hydrogen 3 atoms are there, and both are non-metals. So the name of the compound is nitrogen trihydrate. Nitrogen trihydrate. Nitrogen trihydrate. In the same way, if I write H2O, it is water. Water is the trivial name or the common name. And name of this compound is di. Hydrogen is 2 atoms, so it is dihydrogen. Hydrogen. It is dihydrogen. Sorry. H2O, actually it is looking like 2H. It is not this. We cannot write dihydrogen. It is HOH actually. So it is what? Hydrogen hydroxide. So it is hydrogen hydroxide. So this is all about what symbol, formula, how we can write the formula of the compounds. So this is all about symbols, formulas, and how we can write the formulas with the help of symbol and valencies, and then how we can name the compound when its formula is provided to you.